Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you are doing fine wherever you are joining from. So my name is Malvin. I work at Hamley, and today we are going to do the last part of this particular call. We've been having two calls. I hope you are doing fine wherever you are joining from. Okay, so for that, we had two sessions. The one for Monday and Tuesday, and today was the last session. So I want to take this chance to welcome everybody aboard. And if you can hear me, maybe you can do a thumbs up, or you can greet me right in the chat so that I know that we are together before initiating this call or discussing the topic of today. It seems today no one wants to talk, but anyway, it's fine. I can see around 10 people are watching right now, so I'll just kickstart because what I'll be showing may take a bit of time. And just to give a recap or an overview of what we learned the other time. So basically last Tuesday, what we learned, we were able to create models from Azure AI Foundry. And from these particular models, we were able to access them and create a simple RAG application, retrieval augmented generation app. That's what RAG stands for in full. Yeah, thank you, Eunice, for the heads up, and Laban and Frederick. Yeah, so we had created a model, and from this creation, we went ahead and created our custom RAG application, which we did in action, and we added some actions to it. For example, it was able to call for weather API and give us real-time data as far as weather is concerned. So what I can show right now, for those who did not join the other time and they are joining today, just to quickly show what we created on Tuesday. Yeah, so let me share my other screen. Those who joined in the other call, we had created this and we were creating this live. So I wasn't copying this code from anywhere. We were doing a debug whenever we encountered any error. And yes, I can attest that things were on our side and it worked well. So for example, our RAG application was able to, number one, give us a local date and time, which it didn't have at the very beginning. So we had to give it this particular ability to check on the real time date and time. And also we went ahead to call other APIs, and this one was specifically for weather API. So Open Weather API, so that's the site. You can also try this. It's a free resource, and yeah, you are limited to the number of requests you can send per day. But it's a great tool to start with whenever you want to get API request pertaining climatic conditions in your region or in your project which you'll be creating. Yeah, so, and another thing, we also made our model to rely on the documents which we have uploaded. So we had this particular hackathon handbook, which I believe everybody is having access to. And we were reading from this book. It was able to summarize this book, handbook, which everyone I believe has. And we can even do that in action. So what I'll do here, since this is the question it has right now, I can change it to summarize the document it has for hackathon. Maybe we can see for hackathon. So let me run this. I can Python app.py to see whether I'll be getting results pertaining my new question. So let's give it some few seconds. It's taking a bit of its time, but yes, it has been able to give us that. Let me expand this so that you can clear. So for those who have access to the handbook, this is the content of the handbook. It's AMLE Hackathon overview, and it's highlighting, summarizing the entire document to just few text and even key tracks, time and structure. We can see week 1, week 2, and this particular week. This is our week for this is the last week for the online webinar. So this is what we are doing. So it has really summarized the handbook very well. I can also ask about whether question I had asked it, and you can see this is the kind of information we were getting as far as whether API is concerned. So that was just a general overview of what we were able to achieve yesterday. So today we are going to do something different, and we'll be doing speech service, and if time allows, we will also do something to do with computer vision, because I believe there are those who would want to go the route of using computer vision in their project, where they can maybe classify images, where they can detect objects, and so on and so forth. So if time allows, we'll be doing that. And maybe if I'm too fast, you can also in the chat so that I slow the pace. Or if you didn't understand any part, I can still explain or elaborate further. Okay, yeah, let's create a new project. I'll name this particular okay, let me file new folder. So let me put it in the download. So I want to create a new folder for our project, and let me call it speech translation. Then I'll select the folder which I've just created. Yes. And once that is selected, I'm going to find our folder structure. So we're going to have this one for today. I must ensure that we're going to have a web interface where we can see, we can write, or we can chat, or maybe a button where you can click instead of using the console. So I'll create a folder called templates, where we'll be having our HTML code. Then we'll have a file. Our main file will be app.py. This will be the primary app. Then I'm also going to create environment variable for storing our keys and endpoints so that they are secure. Then I'm also going to create another folder called static. So this folder will be containing my JavaScript, my CSS, maybe images. But in our case, inside it, let me create styles.css. So this one will be for our this one will be for the styling the HTML. Then on the template, I can create an HTML file called index.html. Yes. So and again, I'm also going to create another one called. Okay. Before that, allow me to create another file called chat.json. So this one, I'm creating it in the wrong directory. It should be in the primary directory. So I'll name this chat.json. So the primary function for chat.json it will be storing our chat history for this application. Then we'll also have requirements.txt. So this will be for all the packages we are going to use. So I've also added it in the wrong directory. So let me just move it. Even the chat.json is in the wrong directory. Let me just move it again. Then, yeah, so those are some of that will be the structure of my code on the project which we are having today. Then on the styling, I've already defined this styling, so I'll just copy this styling here. And by the way, for those who would want to get access to these codes, I'll post them later in the GitHub so that you can fork the repo and test it out or make it better. So this one I'll provide for free, no any charges. So let me copy the one for our HTML. Let me go ahead and save this. What else? So for our environment variable, as I also said, right now, you are going to be able to see all these particular keys and endpoints, but I'll delete them. For those who maybe tested the one we used yesterday, they are no longer working because I had deleted the resource. So I'll do the same for all these ones after this particular presentation. So this will be how we store our keys. Then in the app.py, which will be our primary file. So this particular, so just copy paste it. So we code maybe can extend this one. We are getting the environment variables. Now we are storing safely. We're not adding the keys right here. We have them in environment variable. Then this here is loading those particular variables into so that they are recognized by our code. Then we also have this chat.json, which I created here. It should be chats. So let me rename that to chats. Yeah, then translation. So I've commented every step so that once you have access to this code after posting it later, then you can be able to understand it further. So once we've been able to do that, let me see what is still missing so that I update it before we create a virtual environment for our code, because all these packages are not yet installed. Okay, let me check one more thing, which template I am specifically using here, because it seems I have two templates. So let me search for index.html. So it seems I'm using speech. Yeah, it seems so. I'll have to rename this because I'm using a different template. Let me rename this. Let me just copy the name, then I rename the HTML file. So let me rename it to speech chat.html so that we don't encounter error. So let me open my terminal, then we create a virtual environment so that it allows us to run these particular packages or install the packages. So I'll select, before that I have to have this particular requirement. Let me just add them so that once it's creating the environment variables, sorry, virtual environment, also these particular packages are also being installed. So as we wait for the creation of the environment variable, what we are planning to achieve at the end of this call is to have an interface like this one. Let me see. We'll be having something like this. We'll be having something like this, and we'll be able to chat, and it will be able to translate to any language that we want. You can choose the language you want to translate from and the language you want to translate to. You can start the recording for a live session. You can also be able to stop. Then you can start a new chat for your translation. So this is what we are planning to achieve once we are able, or once all these packages are installed and we test our app. So it's still taking its time, and let's be patient. Once that is done, then we continue. But you can pose any question you have in the chat, or if you are following along, you can let me know. Like, it's good if you let me know if you are following along, and even for those who just joined. Okay, for those who have just joined, we are creating a speech translation application. So this will enable us to do a real-time translation. Yesterday we did a RAG application. Yeah, so today we are doing something different, and if time allows, we'll indulge in computer vision, where we'll be detecting objects, flowers or plants, so that we classify them accordingly. Yeah, it seems there's no question, and our package is also installed. Let me see whether there is any missing package. I can see these one are not yet installed. So let me do a quick installation for this. So before that, I'll ensure that I activate the environment. So let me do that. I'll do a pip install. We are missing Flask and request. And which one again? .env. So let's install these packages. It won't take much of time. Thank you, Frederick. I see you are following. Yeah, our installation is complete. You can see the errors has disappeared. So let's run our app. Okay, just a second. Okay, thank you for the patience. Sorry for that. I had some technical issue on my side, and I was correcting that. So let's continue and see whether this will work. So let's run this, our app. So it's running, which is so promising. So let me copy this URL and Let me use this browser here. No, let me use a different. So let me drag this here. So this is what we just created. And we can try creating a new chart for test. So I've created this chart. You can see it's right here. And the reason why we created uh, this chart.json, so it will be storing the history of our chart. So that was the main reason why we did that. So I can get back to here and we do some tests. So I select that chart and I want to translate from English to maybe let's speak Swahili. Uh, Hello there, how are you?
Translation failed.
Yeah, we are experiencing an error on the translation side. So let's see, let's try debugging it and see why the translation is failing. So let me stop this.
Translation failed.
Okay, so let me switch back to our scene, but I'm getting translation fail. So what I can do on this other side, I think there are two instances which are running. Let me stop one to see whether it's affecting the other because they're all running in the same port. So let me see. We see whether this time around it's going to be fair to me enough to work. So I'm getting this error. So we can try JSON decoder expecting value. Yeah, I can correct that. So let me just put a JSON format which it's supposed to use. Then let's see whether this time around it's going to work. So let me copy this JSON which I have and paste it here. And then load this page and the error seems to disappear. But we are also having another issue. Our interface really looks different from the original one which we were aiming to achieve. So let me see what maybe I have missed. So let me just add the file in HTML. I have all this. I also add this called yeah. And let me just confirm whether I have everything that I need. I have static file, which is right. So for the static file, yes, that's okay. Then the environment variable, everything seems okay so far. Then app API, same case. We have chat.json requirements. Yeah, so what I can do, I can restart the server and see whether the chat interface will now work. Let me add a new terminal. Yeah, so let's do another run, python .py. Yeah, let me get back here and reload this. Okay, let's try translating the translation the way it is, whether it will work. Hello there. So I'm getting some issues, but we will solve it. So what we can still do, let me check on the console whether we are getting any error. So interestingly, so this is what we're getting. So let me drag this here, figure out where the issue is. Okay, just a minute, I solve this. I'm debugging it on the other screen, so that once that is done, we continue. So okay. Okay, I'm debugging it, so just bear with me for some few seconds or few minutes. I'll be able to find the reason it's not working. Okay, let me try adding this, whether we'll be getting a solution to the issue we have. So let me go to app.py, I add another root. So let me add it down here. Let me save it. Then let me start the app again. So I'm getting another error. So what we can do, let me drag this. So let's try it with this. Let's see whether this is now going to work. The one I was trying to debug. So let's run it, python app.py. It's the same URL. So let me drag this over here. And now let's test once more. Let's create a new chat. Translation testing. So let the other one remain default. Then let me select it as English to Swahili. That's okay. So let's do some test whether we will still land into another issue. Hello there.
Translation failed.
Still getting the same issue. So
Translation failed.
so what we can do,
Translation failed.
I have another copy to the testing with. Let me do this. let me just confirm whether these environment variables are correct, because I suspect they are doing what they're supposed to do. So let me check the keys and endpoint for translation. You can hear the voice one is working perfect, but the translation one, it's where we are having an issue. So let me just counter check whether the endpoint and the are okay. So I'm checking it on my other screen. So oh, I think this is where the issue was coming. I think the region. So the region mismatch. So from my end, it is Central US, but I was using East US. So, and again on the text, this one is standard, this one is okay. So let me just copy it and replace it. Let me save my changes. Then let's restart our app. Let me delete this and let's test again. Python app.py. Yeah, let me, if it doesn't work this time around, then we'll just shift focus to computer vision. So let's give it another try. Hello.
Error. Expecting value. Line 1 column 1. Char 0. Error. Expecting value. Line 1 column 1. Char 0.
Yeah.
Error. Expecting value. Line 1 column 1. Char 0. Error.
So I'm getting,
Expecting value.
I'm still
Line 1
getting
column 1. Char
an
0.
error on that. So let me fix. Let's see which error. Since I had okay, let me just check on the key once again on this other side. Let me delete this. Same to this. Let me restart this one here. Let me check whether these other ones are also correct. This the speech key. Yeah, let me just counter check this. Translator endpoint is correct. The key, let me just copy this once again and test. Replace. Yeah, let's do that. Then this should still be East US, but let me just counter check speech service. Let me just check the endpoint and the key as well. So for the, yeah, it is East US, then endpoint, then the key. Let me counter check with what I have, whether this is the correct one. I think that's where the issue was, because that key has a big disparity from the other one. So let me save this and let's give it another try. So let me delete this and start the app again, restart the app. And I hope it's going to work this time around, because it's very difficult to debug sometimes. Yeah, let's test once again. Hello.
Error. Expecting value. Line 1 column 1. Char 0.
Still getting the same problem after all that struggle. Let me try once again. Hello.
Error. Expecting value. Line 1 column 1.
Still,
Char 0.
still the same issue. So let me just copy again these variables. I test it on this other side. I hope the magic will happen this time round. So let me start it on this other hand. Let me stop the one and start this other one. They normally say that when demo gods are not on your side, things won't work. But at least one thing must work. Let me try one more time. Okay, it's very interesting. I do not know that from the other side, but what we can do, I'll provide these particular codes and I'll figure out the one which are working. I'll look at these at the end of this particular call. Then once I've figured out where the issue is, then we'll continue, or I'll post that code, then you can test it. As I also promised, we are going to get the keys so that you can still do it from your side. So let's see if we'll be able to succeed in computer vision, because this one cannot prevent us from continuing with what we had planned for today. So what we can do, let me just create a new project really quick. Uh, Give it another try this time around. I hope it will work. A new folder, and this one is vision. Let me just call it vision. Then let me open it. So we're going to use, let me create a file, app.py. So this is basically what we are trying to create. It's, for example, if you give it flower, it will be able to identify that this is actually flower, or which type of flower, or categorize that flower. And I want also to try to give it a different item, for example, maybe a chair or something else which is not a plant, whether it will be able to detect what exactly that is. Or maybe we can even give it a littered street where there are a lot of litters everywhere, where they'll be able to detect there is litter in a certain region. Yeah. So let's give it a try once again. And from my side, let me check on the correct keys for computer vision. So I'm checking it on my other screen. So I'm just checking the endpoint, but as this app, let me create environment real quick, because we have around 17 minutes. I hope I'll be able to succeed before that time. Yeah, so as the environment is creating, I'm also copying the keys and the endpoint, and actually keys are not ones, yeah, but for these ones, they're not going to work. So I have the key. Okay, let me store this into variables. So let me create .env. Then we'll be having, let me just copy real quick these two, paste them here. Then I replace them with the correct keys and endpoints. So for the key, I replace with that. For the endpoint, yes, then the environment is not yet created. So because I need to install, so let me give it some few minutes for the environment to be created. So it's taking its time. So check that way console and see if it's a repo. Yeah. Okay. Installing the packages. So we have these two.env. Then we also have this. So I'm installing the packages. Once that is done, oh, I had forgotten to activate the environment. Okay, so let me just clear these, and then I install the packages. I hope it won't take much time. Let me see this error. Let me see why it's not installing. Let me try with this option. That seems to install. So give it some that it installed the Azure AI Vision package. So actually, for the debugging purposes, do not feel afraid. For example, right now I'm using an AI to help me debug this code real quick. So you can also use an AI of your choice to assist you in during your debugging session, so that at least it helps you a lot. Like it saves much of your time whenever you encounter errors. So it's a great tool to start with. You can use Gemini, you can use ChatGPT. So let me install this other package, the .env. Then let's go to the internet and download maybe a flower. For example, rose flower. Let me just download rose flower. So maybe I can save it inside our, let me just save it there. And let me switch back to VS Code. Interesting. I don't know why .env. I've just installed it and it's still highlighting. Oh, it's now okay. So I have this image called one.jpg. So what I'll replace, I'll just put one here so that it ties with the image which we have. So let's try this whether it will run. Let us give it a trial. Let me recheck this whether that's the correct. Oh, this should be the correct naming. Let's try it really quickly. Let me save and let me rerun. Yeah, you can see this one has worked. We can see it has categorized it as flower with one. Then it's a plant. It has petals, garden roses. You can see the category, hybrid tea rose, so on and so forth. You can see it has been able to detect that really well. So you can see the object detected is with this confidence. It's a rose with this confidence, and we can see even the analysis result, which is being output here and also in the console. Yes, we can try something, maybe a littered street. Let's see whether it will be able to detect that. So let's search for littered street. Yes, we can take these. I want the one without any watermark, so I can download, save this as image and just save it. Yeah, I want it to be 2. I want to name it as 2.jpg. So I can get back to code here. Yeah, and from our code we just do a small change that image to, let me drag this down. Now we are having the second image, which is 2. So let's run this and see what we get. Okay, so I've written the name incorrectly. So let me rename this to 2. Yes, let's run with it once again. Yeah, you can see like it has been able to do that. Caption a pile of trash outside. Tags, you can see it's a litter. I didn't tell it that it's a litter, and it is outdoor and it is in the street. You can see zero the confidence. Then it is on the ground and it is trash and it looks like a city. So the results saved to analysis are these: a littered related item detected, a litter stroke trash, and you can see it has been able to do that. So for example, maybe in your project you'd want in your project to detect maybe littered cities so that you ensure there is cleanliness in that particular city. So these are a great way of doing that. So this was just an example. I can also take one last image, then we close the session. Let me take one. For example, maybe somebody can suggest something we can test in the any suggestion from the chat on which image to test on. Okay, we can also take one last. I can take one for example, let's try litter bins. Litter bins in a street. Let's see what they'll be able to. Yeah, we can. I can take this one. Oh, let's try Mercedes Benz. Since Frederick is following, let's try Mercedes Benz. Let me copy this here. Let me search for this. Let me take this other one. Let me save that as image in the same directory. So this one should be 3.ppg. So then I also edit my code. So I change this to 3. Let's run it once again. Let's see what it detects. Yeah, you can see the tags are car. It has some wheel, tire. So these are the criteria it was using to classify this. It was able to see it a vehicle, a land vehicle. It has some bumper, auto parts, transport. It's used in transportation, automotive design, alloy wheels, crossover, SUV, sport utility vehicle like compact. So you can see all this. Then object was detected was car. But I would really want to maybe to pose this challenge. If somebody can make this particular model be able to exactly tell which kind of car, because uh, it has just detected it as car without telling us which type of a car, which is Mercedes. So this is something which you can do so that you know the specific instead of giving it you the general information. Yeah, so that's all for today's session. For what did not work, I'm going to ensure that I provide the code in the GitHub repo. I'll talk together with the marketing team so that they can post it in the WhatsApp. Then you can also try this once I provide the keys and the endpoints. So these are some of the things I'm challenging you to go and create some great stuff. For those who did go the Copilot studio route, we will also welcome make something nice out of Copilot Studio. For those who want pro, do amazing stuff because we are providing you with all that you need. Uh, and I remember back then, sisi tukiwa hapo shuleni, we didn't have access to all these resources, but we are giving you access to them. So it's a good stuff. And you exploit. Imagine you are having a GPT-4 model and testing it, using it at your own time, testing it and doing explorations with it. So it's a great thing. And by the way, these are some of the things we are doing here at work. We create AI applications, we create custom applications that can run on WhatsApp, that can run in Teams or any other channels. So it's a good way of starting building your skills, your programming skills. So it will be a nice thing starting with. So I appreciate you being part of this call, and I hope this session has been successful. And I wish you all the best in your hackathon as you begin creating your hackathon, maybe combining your idea now to life. So that was my